I mainly want to talk about first why you created this. What was the pain point that you saw? So, you went from a founder or from a broker to a founder, and you spent almost 25 years as an employee benefits broker before you started Plansight. So, what were the challenges that led to the creation of this software?
Well, yeah, thanks for asking. I did spend a long time. I started very, very young. I was actually a college student when I started in the business. It was a family business at the time. So I've seen quite an evolution to the point where there was almost no technology, to the point where technology was starting to get introduced, to eventually inventing technology to do it. I mean, I was doing this back in the, I want to say early 90s, mid to early 90s, and we were doing RFPs on fax machines. Eventually, we're faxing over RFPs and physically like drive to the insurance companies a lot of times to pick up the quoting documents and the booklets and the provider directories and things like that. And eventually it got to the point where, hey, email was good enough to send this stuff back and forth. You get PDFs, but it always turned into this big process of turning it into a massive Excel booklet, tons of different versions of it, and just tons and tons of different email threads, and kind of like chaos every year. It's an interesting business because it's very cyclical. Most people are, renewing their business 1/1. So fourth quarter would just be absolutely crazy. And every year it's just kind of like, okay, where is everything? And in my agency, we went from, storing customer data in filing cabinets in the early 90s to we get to a point where we're using CRMs that you used to get on. All I'm doing is dating myself here. Shouldn't be doing this. We had CRMs that we would get on CDs and load them on our computer, and they were locally hosted, but it's the way that we could track data. Eventually, systems started coming out, broker management systems, which would track policy data, but there was really nothing that managed that RFP cycle, and it's mission critical. If you're selling benefits, you have to do an RFP. There is no plan that exists with no RFP. So, but the process was kind of just all over the board, just tons of random attachments, tons of email threads, and there was just no way to really succinctly track it. So it was just kind of chaos. And I started to see some things happening in the industry with technology, with different bin admin systems coming into play, things like Zenefits and things like Flock, and going, hey, they're really focusing on this, and that's neat. And the system started getting better. The bin admin system started getting better, but there was nothing that was doing anything to change this RFP process, this collection of quotes process, this process of analyzing the quotes and comparing them side by side. Because at the end of the day, what I had to do for my customer was put together a presentation and put together a recommendation. And I was one of those weird brokers, which I think they're all weird in this way. We want to do the right thing for our customers. We want to make sure they're in the right spot in the marketplace, but we need efficiencies and tools to let us know what is the marketplace and how can I go out to it and collect it in a process that is scalable and repeatable. Because as we work with agency all over the place, and we can get more into this, there's a lot of consolidation. And as these brokerages consolidate, it's like, hey, let's bring new companies under the umbrella. Everybody's just doing it very differently. There's no consistency in what we found. That's what the large brokerages are looking for, is consistency, scalability, and ultimately growth. But yeah, I was selfishly trying to solve my own problem. I'd, banged my head against the wall for so many years on, why is this so chaotic? Is it so hard to get quotes back and manage the whole process, that I came up with this crazy idea and went out and started talking to my peers, different potential customers, and just couldn't stop validating it. So here we are.